Hey guys, Marmalade here. What is going on? Thank you so much for joining me today for episode 12 of 5 Things. Alright, so this episode and this topic was given to me by Jean Scrocky. And she told me I couldn't say her name right, so correct me if I'm wrong. But Jean, I know of her. I've never met her, but she's been following me ever since 2019 on my individual thru hiking videos. She's always been watching, and I appreciate how long you've been following me. And let's get on with her question. All right, this is a good one, but it's kind of long, so I'm going to read it. 5 things I absolutely don't regret about my 2019 PCT thru hike attempt, despite my hike ending with a bad injury. And I love this one. It actually made me think about what I appreciate, because that's what we should do, not focus on an injury or things that are tough or that maybe didn't work out the way you want. But it really made me reflect on it, and I came up with what I think is 5 good ones. So before I go over these 5 things, I want to be clear. Some people are new to my channel, so they don't know. I attempted the thru hike in 2019. The quick version of this, I started at the Campo, California-Mexico border, did the desert part, 702 miles. 2019 was a tough year winter-wise. It was record snow in the Sierras. I also got there kind of fast, March 16th, which is too early most years, except for this year, to enter the Sierra. So I waited about a month, thanks to meeting my trail ranger Dave up in Seattle, which I'll talk about later. He was able to get me to Hart's Pass, which is the closest you can get to the Canadian border, about 30 hiking miles. Went up, touched the border, and was planning on doing the rest of the trail southbound. Ended up having an accident and unknowingly broke my ankle. I know it was badly injured. Ended up hiking almost 100 miles on the thing, and when I got x-rays, found it was broken, and so my hike was over. I've since going out, last year I did about almost 300 mile, a 283 mile section in Oregon. This year, I'm not sure yet. There's some things that I'm planning, but I don't know if they're gonna happen. I'll let you know when I know. But so when I go over some of my things I don't regret, it'll be what I've done over the last couple years. So just keep that in mind, okay? So the number one thing I don't regret is some of the fellow hikers I met while I was on trail and got to hike with and gutted out through the desert portion, and when we flipped in Washington. I hiked with 2 young men most of the desert off and on, which is Adam and Grant. And it's funny because I was 56 or 7 when I was doing this then, and they were 20 and 21, so they were actually about a year or 2 younger than my actual son. So it was great to get to hike with them and feel their energy. And the old man kind of kept up with them most of the time, so that was good. But they were just great guys. They're from Oregon. They're best friends from when they were growing up, and they were kind of hiking home to Oregon. So I really appreciated them. But yeah, just the people you meet when you're out there gutting it out every day. And it's weird how the trail works, is that some of us are faster and slower, but when you're doing a big section like the desert, which is 702 miles, I continually ran into people. Like I get ahead of somebody and I take a 0, and then they catch up, or vice versa. And so I saw a lot of the same people in our little bubble all the way through the desert, which was great. And then because of the weather and having to wait a month and flip, when I eventually got up there, I started seeing some of the same people that did the exact same thing, and some new hikers that were southbounding from the Canadian border down. So yeah, some of the people you meet truly are lifelong friends on the trail. And the second thing I don't regret is kind of a given, but it's part of why you're out there hiking. But I don't regret seeing the amazing scenery and vistas and places that I got to see. And remember, I did we're talking the Southern California portion, and then I did the Northern Washington portion, and then last year I did some Oregon. But what I've seen so far, it's a privilege to go through some of these national parks and to be able to be there in the middle of a remote place with, there's no roads a lot of times, no buildings, no towns. It's just literally you and the trail. And I don't know why, but I was always caught up on thinking about, there's hardly any people that have ever actually walked here. There's a bunch of thousands that start every year, but a lot of them fall out or don't make it. But I just kept thinking about, wow, not many people have ever actually walked down this trail and seen these sights, and I get to do it. And I can't wait to do the rest of the trail. But I don't regret getting to see our wonderful state of California, where I'm from and I'm born and raised, and then getting to see Washington, which I just fell in love with. Number 3 is I don't regret what I learned about myself. Many things, but the main thing was I suffered 2 injuries when I was, I want to say 190 miles in, and I'm going over past Idlewild over Fuller Ridge, and I pulse holed through the snow for, I don't know, 11 miles the day before, and then down 8,000 feet to the desert floor near Palm Springs. I got shin splints on my left leg, ended up hiking about, I don't know what that is, 70, 80 miles up about 9,000 feet to Big Bear on it. And it was just killing me, but I did it. And then that was my first injury. And then, as I alluded to, at the end of my hike, when I finished the desert, flipped up there, was coming down, and fractured my ankle really badly. I didn't know at the time. It was swollen and giant, but able to walk out of there. And actually, some say the roughest and most difficult section on the whole PCT, that 108 miles of the Glacier Peak Wilderness, when you go, I was going southbound from Stehekin southbound to Stevens Pass, and I got through there with a broken ankle. And it just taught so much about me, what I'm capable of doing, what I'm able to do, what I could withstand, my strength. You know, I wasn't gonna die, but it was like a semi-survival state. I had to either get airlifted or get out of there. So, you know, I tell many people, if my leg was shattered, of course I have to hit my butt and get a helicopter. But I learned so much about what I'm capable and able to do, and that's priceless. So number 4 is, I don't regret all the amazing trail angels and people that helped me along the way. And it started with, I alluded to, my shin splints. I got to Big Bear, which is mile, I think, got off trail of 266. And I have 2 trail angels. They're both named Dave. So Dave 1 is Diamond Dave. That's what he goes by. And he's a major trail angel in Big Bear Lake. He's lived there forever. And he had written me. I had no service coming up until I got within 15 miles of Big Bear. I had no service for days upon days. And he was texting me, and he had offered, he does trail magic at the trail with drinks and a cooler. He gives people rides into town, things like. He's been doing that forever. But he left me a message saying that I only host 1 or 2 people maybe a year, and I love your videos and I'd love to host you. And little did he know what he was getting into, because I had shin splints, and I was hiking with Bart, and who's another person, by the way, I love and appreciate. He was just great. But so when I had service and I was about 15 miles out of town, out of Big Bear, I called him. I said, I would love, I mean, I'd never had a trail angel put me up. I was planning on going to a hostel or a hotel. But Bart is a retired doctor, and he said that I needed at least 2 to 3 days to let my shin splints calm down. And then with KT tape and, you know, and the therapy and stuff that he was teaching me, that I should be okay. And I also got a compression sock while I was in town. But I needed 2 to 3 days, and that will also cost a lot of money in a hotel. So when I called him, I said, hey, he offered me a night there. I said, I'm going to let you know I told him what I just said, and he goes, stay as long as you want, I don't care. And I was like, really? So he let me stay there for 3 nights, so 4 days and 3 nights, and Bart got to stay because he was hiking with me. Eventually his wife joined us too. So I mean, who does that? And he just was invaluable. You know, I elevated and rested and compressed and iced and, you know, did all that. And the time I got back on trail, I had my compression sock on. My leg was actually at 90% better. So Dave, if you see this, thank you so much. But that's the first person I do not regret meeting. I've since, and we had talked about it, I've since gone back because I live close to him within a couple hours. I've gone back up and spent a couple days with him. We went fishing on his boat in Big Bear Lake. Didn't catch a thing, but it doesn't matter. And just had a great time, went to a Mexican restaurant. So we just had a blast. So he's become hopefully a lifelong friend, and we're gonna do some more hikes together in the future too. So my second trail angel and my second Dave is Dave up in Bremerton near Seattle. And when I finished the desert portion and I just evaluated everything, my best option was to wait. There was a lower than normal snow level in Washington, so it was normal. It seemed normal to go when the southbounders go, which was the last day of June for me. So I just I've always disliked when I'm watching somebody somebody through hike and they disappear, like they quit or something, they get injured, but they just disappeared and you never know what happened. So I left I did a video saying, basically a channel update saying, hey, I'm done with the desert, but I'm gonna wait about 6 weeks and then I'm gonna flip and get up to Hart's Pass and become a southbounder. I don't know how I'm getting there, but that's it. So if you can be patient, you know, you'll see videos again in about 6 weeks. So Dave reached out to me, and unbeknownst to me, he's been watching my videos at the time. We'd never talked or anything. And he offered to kind of be my trail angel and get me to Hart's Pass, which is ginormous because it's about, I don't even know anymore, like a 6-hour drive from Seattle up the last hour is like this sketchy dirt road up to Hart's Pass. And it's just really hard to get there. You can pay people, but it costs a lot of money. It's just a long ways away from Seattle. So it ended up, actually we got to talk a lot before that 6 weeks went by, and then he actually invited me to his house to stay. So I went up like 3 or 4 days ahead, and I got to see Seattle, the city, for the first time, and you know, the fish market and all that stuff, and the underground city, and did all that and hiked and ate. and had a blast. And then they took me to Hearts Pass, and actually Dave actually ended up hiking the 30 miles with me from Hearts Pass up to Canada. And then to blow me away even more, instead of normally what you do is you hike up and then you southbound, you have to retrace your 30 miles back. But we had a permit to enter Canada, so he and I actually got to the Canadian where the monument is, and his wife Christy met us there. We hiked the 8 miles out to Manning Park, and then we actually camped there in a Canadian campground, and then we drove all the way around, 6 hours all the way around back to Hearts Pass to save me that 30 miles. So I was able to start southbounding where they dropped me off originally. So anyway, I'm just like, who does this? So when you guys see this, thank you so much. I can't thank you enough. And that's the kind of stuff people do for you. And until then, I didn't know these people. I'd never talked to them, and they're strangers, and they do that kind of thing for you. And then also just all the hitches and rides and people giving us good advice when we get in towns, and even just simple stuff like where's the best restaurant or where's the best place for resupply and that kind of stuff. It's invaluable. And I don't regret all the water caches in the desert. I mean, we literally could not get through the desert, especially this year, without those water caches. And anybody that's ever hiked the trail knows it. So the cost and the time that exerted doing that, thank you guys so much. But anyway, that's number 4. All right, number 5 is kind of like number 4, but it's a different group of people. Once again, you don't realize how many people are out there helping you, and sometimes you need the help. And I can just tell you, even like in the desert section, it's closed now, but like there's places that help the hikers, like Warner Springs and KOA Acton and Hiker Heaven and Casa de Luna and the General Store and Grumpy Bears at Kennedy Meadows, places like that. I mean, they're just amazing oases literally in the middle of the desert, and places to get water and see fellow hikers and rest your body. And you know, the desert's a tough section. You're mostly total exposure to the sun, big, huge mountains, bigger mountains in the desert than there is in Oregon and Washington. So it's a tough section, especially when you're just starting out and getting the flow going. And I just had so many people help me. All right, I'm sorry for kind of a long video, but there was a lot of talking and explaining. So anyway, there's more things that I don't regret I'm more thankful for, but I definitely don't regret it. You can't control what's going to happen. What I said before, you just have to go for it. And my hike and my experience is my own, and that's what I experienced. If you look at it positively, you know, I was beyond bummed to have my hike end because of my ankle, but now I'm getting I'm looking at it differently now. I've chosen to, so now I'm getting to continue doing the trail for a while and do chunks. I'm hoping to maybe do a chunk this summer, so I'll let you know if I do, but I'm going to do it in chunks. But I guess in a weird way, you know, if you do it all 1 year, it's over with. Unless you do it again, you're done with it forever. And this way, I still get to go out and see new sections. So, but anyway, I hope you enjoyed that. That was number 12. Let me leave some comments if you can think of anything else or thoughts you got from this video. And I'm always looking for more 5 Things videos, so give me some ideas. And if you haven't subscribed and liked, please do so. And until next time, see you down the trail.